Hey YouTube, Chicken Shinobi here with a review of the S.H.Figuarts Tamashii Web Exclusive Genocider, consisting of Venosnaker, Evildiver, and Metalgelas. That's how I'm pronouncing them because that's what I feel like saying. Genocider here, the three contract monsters right here in the Photoshop filtered Ryuki style that they got going on. Genocider up here, and on the back we have Unite Vent, which combines them, and then Final Vent, and then it shows the three of them all together, plus the Tamashii Stages that are included. So let's go ahead and take a look. Alright, and here we are. Just going to take a look at the three of them individually, and then combine them, and accessories, and all that fun stuff. So, this was a Tamashii Web exclusive, meaning it is very hard to come by now. They're popping up in Mandarake for about anywhere from 14,000 to 15,000, somewhere around there. He was roughly 11,000, I think, when I pre-ordered it, so his price did go up a bit. It might have even been cheaper, I don't remember. But here is Venosnaker. So, as you can see, Venosnaker shares a lot of molding from Dragredder. In fact, it is the same exact body, but with a little added piece right there, and colored in purple, obviously. So all of these points are completely maneuverable, 360 rotation, all ball jointed, all can move however you want them to. So many posing options with this guy in general. It's a little bit difficult to get him in a fairly decent looking coil shape, but it's possible. It's just kind of difficult. His tail makes Ouja's sword vent, just like the ones in what's his name, Magnugiga. These are bigger than the normal ones. I don't have the normal ones out right now to compare them, but just know that all of the vents are bigger. And it falls out a lot. Basically, how you put this in is there's a hole and there's a peg. And plop and kind of lock it with that little tab, except it falls out very easy. So, I would actually recommend, if you want to keep it like this, gluing it in. Ouja's got a sword vent already, so he doesn't really need the bigger one. So I'm probably just going to glue it in, because you don't need to remove it for anything. Venosnaker's head does rotate right here, and the mouth does open, revealing his little tongue. And these little fin bits all move as well. So if you want them frilled out, you can frill them out. If you don't have to do that either. So very, very cool. I love this guy quite a bit. He's not my favorite of the batch of three that goes to Metalgelas, but it's just a really cool toy altogether. And so I'm glad that he was finally released. He does have a little bit of problems standing straight up because of the weight. There you go, that's not bad. So, if we put his tail back in, maybe. Kind of set him to the side, and his tail fell off anyway. He does come with a Kamen Rider Ouja Tamashii Stage. It does come with the bits, but I just don't have them attached right now. So, you got the Advent deck looking stage, clear, purple cobra. Pretty cool. Up next is Evildiver, which is actually pretty cool considering how much he doesn't move. He's a stingray thing, so he doesn't really have articulation. His little back fins are on a hinge, and then his tail is on a hinge. Like before, the tail does pop off. It's actually a lot harder to do than Venosnaker's tail. In fact, it's not coming off at all, but it does. There we go. So this is the swing vent for Kamen Rider Raia. And as always, it is bigger and longer than the one that came with Raia. So if you want a more impressive looking weapon, use his tail. If not, that's fine too. You got ports on the back here because it does come with a stage part that plugs right in, and then I twirl it around and drop it because that's how we do things here. So it does pin right in. So my problem is the joint right there is really loose, but you can just grab a different one that probably isn't as loose. So you just plug that in, and so you can have Evildiver flying and stuff like that. And then you can take these stage pieces, and if you had the right end cap, which I don't right now, but if you take these, there is a port right on the back here to plug it right in. So you can swing around and peg Raia in, so you can pose Evildiver with Raia riding him. So that is an option to do as well. So you've got the stage back here to plop Evildiver on the stage, and then a stage port to put Raia on top of Evildiver without having to worry about crap flailing around everywhere and people falling down and stuff like that. So very, very cool. You've got pretty much all your bases covered with this guy. These do fling upward, but that's for the Genocider transformation, so I'm not really counting that. And it does kind of look like he could be a disc launcher because he's got a little space open right there, but nothing like that is included. But very nice paint on this guy, and overall a pretty impressive little disc dude. And of course he comes with the Kamen Rider Raia Tamashii Stage, looking like his advent deck with the Stingray in the middle, Evildiver. So again, pretty cool. It's a little bit redder than it probably should be, but hey, Raia just didn't like being pink, apparently. And last but certainly not least, Metalgelas, or Metalgelas, or something. I prefer Gallus just because it looks right to me. Good old Rhino dude. Very impressive looking. He is quite heavy. There's no die-cast parts, as far as I know, on this guy, but just his mass in general makes him quite a heavy figure. And despite the fact that he is quite a Hulk, he actually does have quite a bit of articulation. So you've got a full rotation here up at the head, and like I said, full rotation. He can be all creepy. You got full movement up here at the neck. His mouth doesn't open, which I think is a little bit of a disappointment. I don't know if his mouth ever opened in the show or not, but it'd be cool to see anyway. Full rotation at the shoulders. You've got a little bit of a ratchet joint going on here. For that, you do have a joint right there at the elbow, as well as the hand, so full rotation there. All of the fingers are on individual ball joints, so those move. The shoulder pads move to get out of the way. There's a swivel right here at the bicep as well. You've got no movement in the waist or chest area, but you have the same ratchety joints down here at the thigh. In fact, you actually have a thigh swivel in there as well. Single ratchet joint right there at the knee, and then you've got full ball jointed movement right there at the ankle. So you've got all of your bases covered with this guy, and despite the fact that he is huge, he's got pretty much the articulation of a standard figure outside of like the chest and waist area. So with that in mind, I'm actually quite impressed with this guy, and that's why he's my favorite of the three. Just because I wasn't expecting such a large figure to have not only as much bulk and heft as he does, but to have as much articulation as like a normal figure. So I think that's incredible. His horn does move for the sake of the different vents and the transformation. So you've got that going on. And like I said, this does pop right off, mostly for transformation, but as well as the strike vent for Kamen Rider Guy. So that includes a little tab that just kind of sits in there, and then he can grip it. A lot bigger than the one that comes with Guy. So if you want a more impressive looking strike vent, there you go. They got your bases covered yet again. And that just snaps right back on. So very, very cool. I love this guy quite a bit. And if he was sold separately, I would have bought him separately too. I would have bought all of these, but I'm crazy. Metalgelas also includes an additional Tamashii Stage port that attaches right onto his back, where you attach Evildiver eventually in the Genocider combination. And so it just kind of acts as a stability for him, even though that's not really necessary because he's got quite a bit of stability going on for him, but it's something that they included anyway. And I suppose it ends up helping with the final vent display for Kamen Rider Guy, but it's probably the only piece in here that really wasn't necessary. And Metalgelas comes with the Kamen Rider Guy Tamashii Stage, looking like his advent deck with Metalgelas' head in the middle. So between the three of them, you have the full set of Raia, Ouja, and Guy Tamashii Stages that didn't come with their figures because they wanted you to buy the contract monsters. So yeah. So anyway, let's go ahead and unite vent it up with our little advent cards. It does come with the final vent for Genocider, the Genocider card, the Unite Vent card, and I think that's it, those three cards. So you've got all the necessary cards. Ouja came with like the blank contract cards and stuff like that, so you've got all the cards going on if you picked up the other releases. So, very cool. Let's go ahead and combine these guys now. Basically, it's a series of various connecting and stuff. Pop this out. Swing his body forward. Don't take that off. That's for something else. Swing his body forward so it's kind of weird like this. Swing that as high up as you can so it looks like he's staring at the sky if he actually had eyeballs still. Take Venosnaker. I don't think I messed anything up. I think it's supposed to look like this, so kind of a weird S shape going on with him. Take off this little piece right here, which is kind of hard to do. You can get your nail in there and pry it off. There we go, so pop that off. That is going to sit right here inside Metalgelas' head. So there you go, you've got Venosnaker in there. Like I said, if you did the S shape right, then it'll fit nicely right inside this crevice in his back. You might be able to swing this around you a little bit more. Like that. So swing that around just like so. So you got a nice little curve going on. Take Evildiver, flip his little wingies out, and he's got those two ports that we used for the Tamashii stage are going to go right here after you flip these ports off on Metalgelas' back. Just like that. Then take Evildiver and peg him in right there. Like I said, it doesn't really matter which way you have that last piece right in there. It'll probably fit either way. Take his tail and kind of situate it around here. And like I said, you might want to glue in this sword. Otherwise, you're going to have a falling sword quite a bit. Situate Evildiver's little tail piece any way you want it. That's the way you need it, any way you want it. Then take this. This will fit just kind of snug right on his head. This part will swing down, as you can see, and form a lock on top of Venosnaker's little helmet thing. So once you've got the helmet piece lined up where you want it, there's actually a slider right back here that slides forward, if you can get it in, and plugs into the back of Venosnaker's head. So between the horn lock and that lock, it's pretty secure in there. So once you kind of re-situate that, you got Venosnaker's rather large head that contributes to quite a huge stance on Genocider in terms of length. In fact, he's tall enough to the point where he's not fitting in my camera frame whatsoever. So as you can see, Venosnaker makes quite a awesome little headdress thing for Genocider. And the Genocider combination in full just looks absolutely impressive. And the fact that they were able to engineer these to fit so well together, and particularly the way that the strike vent up here attaches to Venosnaker's head, I think is a very nice way of doing it. It does lock fairly solid in place. The only problem I have this thing is the fact that that sword vent doesn't want to stick into the tail of Venosnaker all that well. So I think that's a little bit of a shame, but I mean overall it's just an incredibly beautiful looking figure. The silver of Metalgelas just really makes the entire figure pop overall. And Evildiver and Venosnaker both have the same kind of metallic quality to their magenta and purple colors. So I just really like the way that this ends up looking overall. And so the last thing to show off is his final vent, which basically creates a black hole. So you take that off, then you have this piece. It'll go into this little crevice on his chest and just replace that one piece. So now he's got a vortex on his stomach and he just eats things. So that's pretty cool. You can display him like that if you really want to. I'm not. In fact, I'm probably going to be weird and eventually display these as 3 different contract beasts because I think that ends up making a more impressive display. But for now, it's going to be Genocider on display to save some space. So, overall, this is just an absolutely incredible figure that just retains so much articulation in this form between all of Metalgelas' articulation points. Then you've got Venosnaker's rather intricate ball-jointed neck piece. So you've got a lot of movement up here as well, plus rotation right there at the head. So you've got all your bases covered with this guy. So much articulation with the tails and the main body. It really does impress me. I wasn't expecting this much articulation in Genocider. And the fact that you actually do get this much adds a lot of posing options and just an overall incredible looking display piece. If you're a fan of Ryuki, if you own the 3 Kamen Riders for this guy, Ouja, Guy, and Raia, then by all means, it's definitely worth it. It is pricey. It ends up to being pretty much almost $150 altogether. But when you factor in you're getting 3 different toys, you're getting Evildiver, you're getting Venosnaker, you're getting Metalgelas. Evildiver would have been on the cheaper side. Metalgelas probably would have been up near Magnugiga's range, which was pretty close to 60. So when you start factoring in things like that, this actually isn't that bad of a deal. Plus the fact that they combine into such an incredible Hulk, for lack of a better term, is really great and does kind of seal the deal on this guy. Being a Ryuki exclusive, he is hard to come by in the aftermarket. Like I said, his price is up to $15,000 now. So if you can find him lower than that and you want him, definitely pick him up. I think it's worth the price all in all. And like I said, it's just kind of one of those difficult things to find nowadays. And any little bit helps. I don't know what I'm doing with this guy now. I'm just having fun. So, yeah, definitely worth it. You can check out shukenshouba.com for latest updates on my reviews and hauls. And, of course, check out RidersRangersandRambles.com, the podcast bringing the latest token news in the craziest way possible. And, of course, you can buy Tamashii Web Exclusive Figuarts, normal Figuarts, and more at cstoysjapan.com. So, take care and have a great one. Bye.